to this computer. All right, Kelsey, what are we doing here?
We are doing our second week, and we've decided to go big with a musical Teen Beach Movie.
All right, so I'm Cece Ciccone.
And I'm Kelsey Bowman, and this is Go Big or Go DCOM.
And a family-friendly podcast where we go
Yes.
back and we watch, not in any chronological order, just as the spirit moves us, our DCOMs. New
All
ones,
of the
old ones,
DCOMs.
all of them. All right, so Teen
The,
Beach Movie, are you going to guide us through this journey?
yes, I will. I'll try to keep us on track. So Teen Beach Movie, I'd seen it, I think, twice before. Not
I'd
when it
never seen it.
premiered, but I had seen it. Like I said, there was a time when a lot of DCOMs were on Netflix, and I watched it then on Netflix. We were in college. It came out in 2013. It was the only DCOM to premiere in 2013.
Yeah, isn't that something? Yeah, I went into this one cold. I had absolutely no, like, I mean, I knew beachy theme, but
Teen Beach Movie.
oh, right.
It's
I guess that wasn't super,
right there in the
it's
title.
right in the title. Yeah, so I didn't really know what was gonna happen. So I was taken on
Quite a journey.
quite a journey, really.
We start
So
with a surfing montage.
which
We're
we love the surfing
introduced.
montage. Surfing montage that is oddly similar to the beginning of Soul Surfer. Bethany Hamilton,
Oh,
remember she got her arm bit off?
yeah. Oh, I remember.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's very similar to that. No sharks though.
The song during the montage, which Maya Mitchell, who plays our main character of Mac, sings the song. The lyrics are like a little intense.
I didn't pay attention to the lyrics, I gotta
See,
be honest.
it did.
All right, read them to us.
One of the lyrics is "Be the oxygen you breathe." That's too much for me.
Be like yourself?
Yeah, she says, I want to be, no, I want to be the oxygen you breathe. Because it's
Oh,
introducing us to the fact that Mac and Brady, our two main characters, are dating, they surf together, and they are the two people in our surfing montage intro. It's
yeah.
cute. They're playing around in the waters
Yeah, it's cute.
together.
It's not very romantic. Like they easily
It's
could have been brother sister.
That's true. That's true. Um yeah, I think some of the lyrics are "Be the shore to your waves" or
Okay.
something like that. So I think Disney heard those when someone like handed them a song. They highlighted those. They said it's great, give it to Maya Mitchell to sing, and they didn't realize how intense the rest of the lyrics were.
Fair enough. And
Um,
so we have this opening montage. They come off the beach, they're all happy. They walk into
her
Max,
grandfather's house.
her grandfather's house, but Brady, who's the other main character, he has a very good relationship with Max
Yeah,
grandfather, mainly because they had the same favorite movie. Who would have
Wet
thought?
Side Story,
Wet Side Story.
which is a great title
It
for
is a
the
great
movie.
title. It
It
is.
is it's supposed to be 1962. It is based off of the Beach Party movies, which starred Annette Funicello. And she was one of the original Mouseketeers. So she is a Disney legend herself.
Wow.
She passed away in 2013. And with the first time that this movie aired, there was a tribute to her at the beginning.
Nice.
So
So a
I'm
little bit
full
of
of
a
the
crossover.
trivia. Yeah.
Lots of trivia. So basically, if I may, the background of the movie, as you know, I don't pay attention to details, so correct me if I'm wrong. Wet Side Story, there's a group of surfers and a group of bikers, and they are fighting over who gets to claim Big Mama's, which is like a surf bar,
Yes.
as their own hangout. Because
Yes.
despite the fact that this is a very large place, they cannot both hang out at Big Mama's.
And there's
So
no other restaurants in this town.
no other restaurants,
There's
no other place to hang out. I don't understand why the bikers, like, it's on the beach. Like I just feel like it automatically belongs to the surfers, but whatever.
surfers can hang out outside. The bikers can't hang out outside. They're in leather. They need to be inside.
They don't have to wear leather. Anyway, so this is their favorite movie. Mac is not impressed by this movie.
Not at all.
She's just very much like, this is a guy thing, I don't understand.
It's outdated. The girls don't surf as well as the boys. Their hair is never wet when they come out of the ocean, which frankly sounds amazing. But not the surfing part, the hair not being wet part.
But I wanted to ask you, as we mentioned in our last episode, Kelsey actually lives in Hawaii.
I do.
And Kelsey, have you ever surfed?
No, I
What?
don't have good balance. I don't think I'd be great. I like the idea of sitting because you know how most of the time I see surfers, most of them are just floating, waiting for their wave because they're very polite and they take their turns.
Mhm.
And I think floating, waiting for a wave sounds awesome. As someone with two kids, the idea of being in the ocean for an hour and no one being able to talk to me or touch me sounds
It's big
amazing.
fan, big fan.
Actually catching a wave, I don't think I am
Yeah.
interested. But I feel like I could just no, you go. It's you can go. I'll take the next
I'll
one.
just
I'll
hang out
just I
here.
could just sit there for an hour.
Yeah. I actually have surfed before, believe
How
it or
was
not.
it? Where?
Uh, so just in Delaware beaches, I did a summer camp one summer that was like extreme sports. And one of the days we went to the beach and we took a surf lesson. And I mean, I didn't surf any like barrel waves or anything like
Right.
that. But yeah, I did surf a little bit. It was fun. It requires an extreme amount of upper body strength that I don't think
Like
uh
it's core. You're balancing with your
it's
core.
it's core, but it's really hard to pull yourself up when the wave is pushing
Mm.
you. Because if you think
Hmm.
about it, the wave is pushing you forward, and you have to, with your upper body, push yourself backwards. So
Yeah.
it's difficult. I enjoyed it, but obviously never did it again. So so here we are.
What was
There
another extreme sport?
we did like we went to the skate park and did
Okay.
skateboarding, and we did paintball.
Okay.
That
Hmm.
was one. I don't remember what else we did. Oh, not an extreme sport. We just like went tubing down a river, but it wasn't. There weren't like rapids or anything.
At least
It
you
was
didn't say
just
like croquet.
yeah, no. They did their best to do extreme sports. In Delaware we don't have mountains or anything, so
Right.
they did what they could. But it
So
was good time.
we're introduced to Wet Side Story, and then who shows up to
The
just
aunt,
just
the evil aunt,
Aunt Antoinette is just the biggest downer. She's not the
and
vibe.
she breaks the news that Mac needs to leave the next day
The next day.
to go to the evil place in all Disney movies, which is private school
Private school out east.
out east.
Just very vague. And Antoinette also vaguely is like a worker lady, but they don't name a specific job. She gets like she like yells at someone on the phone for 2 seconds and then hangs up. Like
Yeah.
she's a business lady, she's a big city business lady, but we don't know what job she has.
You just know that she does not understand the surfer lifestyle for sure.
Yes, no, her hair is up, it's very tight.
Hmm.
There's no wiggle room there.
No wiggle room.
This is a big surprise to Brady since he is Mac's boyfriend and he had no clue she was
Mac
leaving the
mentioned
next
nothing.
day.
Which
Mac really should have said it's a little bananas.
she really should have said something. Yeah. But we do learn that Mac, her parents are not around.
Yes, her mother has passed away. Her father is not mentioned, and her mom had wished. So she and Brady go outside to have this disagreement. They don't fight in front of her aunt and grandfather, but we learned that her mother had wanted her to make something out of herself, and when she passed away, there was an agreement that she would spend the first half of high school living with her grandfather, just hanging out surfing, and then when it was time to quote get serious, she would go to this private school out east that her aunt Antoinette went to and would bring her to. It's a terrible plan.
Terrible plan.
Who is ever going to want to leave a high school at the end of their sophomore year and go to a whole new high school for their junior year?
Yeah, it wasn't well thought out, but this is what they're doing, and they say, this was your mom's last wish, and so this is what we're gonna do. And Mac decides that she wants to go surfing one last time.
There's huge waves the next day.
Huge waves.
Surf like this only happens every 30 years.
Oh my goodness.
This movie was filmed in Puerto Rico. Some more trivia.
Oh, that's fun. Did you watch? I don't know. Do you have HBO?
No.
They have the documentary about the big waves in Portugal. Have you heard of them? They're like enormous. It's Nazaré in Portugal. They have these like 300-foot waves that people surf, and like you have to get pulled by like a
Yeah.
jet ski
Mm-hmm.
in order to, because otherwise like you don't pick enough speed to actually ride the wave. So that's kind of what I thought about when in this scene where the big waves were coming and they say, oh no, a storm is coming. And like the storm comes like all of a sudden. And so
Yes.
Brady jumps on a jet ski to go and save Mac.
Yes,
And
she paddles out on her grandfather's board that everyone in the family has found their destiny on, though Aunt Antoinette has no time for the surfboard. She does not care about the legend of the surfboard. But her grandfather found his destiny on it, and his father found his destiny on it. Her grandfather, incredibly chill about her
super
going
chill.
out in these waves. Brady runs, grabs a jet ski. Whose jet ski? Don't know, but Brady doesn't care.
But
He's
it's
going
there.
to save her. And her grandfather just really didn't seem too concerned at all. I guess that he thought the destiny board would save her. He was right.
He was right.
But he, I think, could have been a little more concerned.
Yeah, so they go out and you see Mac crash. I guess is that the right word? If you crash when you're surfing?
Yeah, I think she definitely falls.
She falls. And Brady goes out to help her. And you kind of miss both of them. Like they both go underwater, and then next thing we know, the weather is clear. The Destiny surfboard just kind of pops out from the water.
The jet ski does not.
The jet ski does not. The jet ski is nowhere to be found because
we're in Wet Side Story.
Like in the movie.
We're in the movie. They go onto the shore. They're like, where are we? What's going on? Where's the storm? Brady says, you're supposed to call me your hero and shower me with kisses. And she goes, I didn't need saving.
I did not need saving, which was actually what I was thinking while Brady got on the jet ski. I was like, she's fine.
I felt the opposite way. I felt like there was really unsafe surf conditions. She actually she needed some help. But she's a very independent woman, teenager. It's very third wave feminism, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which I'm not against, but just pointing it out. She's very much, there is obviously a 1962 character that's very much the traditional Snow White, like I'm just kind of hanging out. I'm sort of a prop even in my own story. Right. And then there was, to counteract that, there was a period of time in cinema where you had to be like quote unquote spunky to be the female lead, which still is not a very well-rounded female lead. Mac does have a character arc and realize that she is actively trying to like be that way.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, she's very like, I don't need to be saved. I can do this all on my own. Don't do anything for a boy.
Yeah, so so they walk out on the beach. Song and dance is happening everywhere. Modest swimsuits, I appreciated.
So that is, yes, all of the swimsuits in this movie cover the navel. In the original Beach Party movie, most women did wear swimsuits that did not cover the navel. But like I said, like I mentioned earlier, Annette Funicello was in those movies. She did cover her navel in at least the first one that she was in. And so that was a nod to that. Yeah. Also, the wardrobes in this movie are excellent.
They are fantastic colors.
Normally, we are kind of making fun of the Disney wardrobes, but they did an amazing job in this one. A lot is due to Ruth E. Carter, who's an Oscar-winning costume designer, did the costume design for this movie. She did the costume design for both the Black Panther movies. That's where she is most well known from. Yep, there's some Trivia Rodrigo for you there.
Thank you for pulling us in. And right around here is where I probably have what's my favorite quote for the movie, which is, maybe we're dead. We died and we're in a musical.
Wait, did Max say that or Brady?
I don't remember. I think it was Brady. I'm pretty sure it was Brady that said it. And we died and we're in a musical, which sounds like purgatory to me. So
yeah, are you a musical person? I guess we should start. Yes.
I am very much a musical person, but I will have to say with this one, I was less impressed with the songs and more impressed with the choreography. choreography just really hit for me. The songs were forgettable.
I liked, well, I guess we'll go into it. Song. So we're here, we're on the beach with our first musical number. We walk right into it, and it's Surf Surf Crazy. This is probably my favorite song. Surf Surf Crazy. It's probably the best musical scene of the movie. So obviously how we meet the surfers. They have bananas names. We have Seacat, we have Rascal, we have Tanner, we have Giggles. Justice for Giggles. I'm so sorry your name was Giggles.
They're all fantastic. I laughed actually. So anyway, I guess we should say Brady gets really excited. You know, he's like, this is awesome. This is the best. They go into Big Mama's, they're hanging out, and who comes in except for Butchie and the motorcycle gang?
The Rodents is their motorcycle gang name.
I love it. And their motorcycle gang is just a heavy nod to Grease.
Yes,
and pretty much everything. I mean, even to the point where eventually, like, the girls are wearing pink, like the pink ladies pink, and
they're all supposed to have New York accents, which doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
We'll let it fly.
I'm loving it. I love the like character accents. Like everyone's basically a character except for Brady and Mac. I thought it was so fun. Yeah, the Rodents show up. They're all in leather.
Yeah, if you picture like, you know, almost like Ken from the Barbie movie for the surfer guys.
I wrote that down. Tanner has such Kenergy. He is not a thought in his little brain. He's just thoughts. Golden retriever boyfriend all day long.
I love it.
It's so great.
It's fantastic.
Okay, so yes, we're in Big Mama's. The Rodents show up. Tanner's hair also bananas. It stands straight up in the front. So much hairspray went into his hair. I loved it. Yeah, I did write down the choreo was so fun for all of the numbers.
It was. Yeah.
The Rodents start singing their intro songs. We just had Surf Surf Crazy, and their intro song is Cruising for a Bruisin'.
Yep, Cruising for a Bruisin'. Love it.
Love it.
No notes. It was
Brady jumps right in.
Yeah, and he's just, which is, I have to say, like a little bit of conflicting energy because Brady was so deep in with the surfer crowd.
Right. Well, they had just had a conversation with the surfers that they royally messed up. They were trying to get in with the surfers, and they were very awkward because they didn't know what was going on, and the surfers were a little hesitant to trust them.
It's fair enough.
I guess Brady figured, oh, you know what? I shot my shot with the surfers and it didn't work. I'll jump in with the bikers. And he's dancing. He's singing Cruising for a Bruisin'. He's got all the, like you said, all the choreo. They have some fun, like, props with the soda bottles at the counter. They really went for it. Apparently, Ross Lynch was not supposed to be so heavily featured in Cruising for a Bruisin', but they saw how well he could dance. And
just for our listeners, Ross Lynch plays Brady.
Yes.
And he was also in Austin and Ally.
Yes, he's the main, he's Austin in Austin and Ally.
There we go. That was past our time a little bit.
Yeah, I never watched Austin and Ally.
Me neither. So they have this little dance, not quite a dance off, kind of a dance off sequence.
There's some rivalry. There's a lot of rivalry
between that's the whole point.
And the bikers. That's the plot.
It's the sharks and the jets.
Exactly. The plot of the movie is supposed to be that Layla, who is one of the main biker girls, her brother Butchie is the head of the biker gang, falls in love with Tanner, who's one of the surfer boys.
Yeah.
She is singing "Fallin' for Ya" on stage, and she literally falls into Tanner's arms.
Amazing.
Which is the next scene in the movie. Unfortunately,
do you see my little hair that I cut all by myself?
Yep, I did.
Jumping all over. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Don't cut your hair, folks.
Who's that beautiful girl? Could she be any cuter?
That's me.
So anyway,
we come across an issue, right, in this movie, which is that there was supposed to be a falling in love that did not take place.
That was supposed to pit these two gangs against each other, and obviously over the course of the movie help them find unity. It's
Right.
beautiful. We've seen it all over the place. However, Mac and Brady completely mess it up.
Which is very interesting because this is like the classic plot twist in like a time travel movie. You know,
Mhm.
like, okay, Back to the Future, he goes back and then his mom falls in love with him.
Right.
So the whole issue is like he's not going to be born and he whatever. And that same plot device is used here where they go into a movie
Mhm.
where the problem
it's like
is that they don't know what
butterfly
to do
effect.
next because
Literally, the two gangs are just standing there like NPCs looking around because the plot point has not happened because
right.
Layla falls in love with Brady and Tanner falls in love with Mac, or I guess develops a crush on.
Right. And so yeah, all of a sudden there's no device to unify them. And Brady and Mac realize that they have messed up and
So
they don't know how to make this okay.
they go outside to discuss it. They discuss how are we supposed to get back now. There's supposed to be a storm at the end of Brady says, we came in on a storm. That must be it. And that's it, decisively. Mac's
Yeah,
like, yep, you're
no
right.
discussion. We came in on a storm, we gotta leave on a storm. This is the lightning strike in Back to the Future. This is how it's gonna work. And then we get introduced to this very, very weird character. I don't even remember his name, but
Less
what is it?
something.
Les
Less
something.
is his
Anyway,
first name.
it's this like cartoonish villain.
Yes.
Like very cartoonish.
They
And
say
he has
he's British, but he's really from Pittsburgh. Never mentioned again. Oh,
yeah, that's just hilarious.
some of my favorite lines. As the rodents walk into the bar originally, Chi Chi, one of the females, says, Big Mama's is like a second home to me if I had a first one. Chi Chi, are you okay?
Yeah, Chi, like, do you need a hug? Like,
Right,
what are
never
we gonna
mentioned
do?
again.
Oh no.
And then one of the male biker gang guys says, I popped my first wheelie in here. That's very dangerous and rude.
Inside. Yeah, you know, I Papa Wheelies. It just always made me nervous. Like, have you ever seen like someone actually on a road, like popping a wheelie like
Yes,
down the
it's
road?
terrifying.
My goodness. I'm
I'm
too safe.
Yes, so we meet
I'm too
Les,
safe.
and he has a sidekick, a minion, so to
Yeah.
speak.
It kind of looks like Mr. Smee from Peter Pan.
Yes, Mr. Smee.
You know,
I see it. Yes, he's a scientist, and they are our maniacal evil guy is a real estate developer who sees how much this beach will be worth in the decades to come, wants to buy it.
Yep.
Big Mama says no. So his retaliation plan is to build a weather machine.
A diabolical.
Yes. Weather altering machine.
Yes, there we go.
Which will still the tides. So he controls the moon, I guess. And also make it incredibly humid so that the bikers bikes rust and they don't want to hang out here anymore. So everybody leaves. Big Mama has no business and she agrees to sell Big Mamas to him and he can build a luxury resort. Honestly, he's got vision, he's got drive, he's got dedication. It is an evil plan, but he is right about the boom in beachfront real estate in the coming years.
He was right. You know, it's interesting actually. Just this afternoon, I was reading an article about timeshares and how they boomed, like right in the 60s and 70s. Like that was the rise of, you know, building condos right on the beach and whatnot. So yeah, you know, he wasn't wrong. I do find it interesting that this is not the only decom that has a weather altering machine. However, do you remember was it the best Christmas present ever?
The ultimate Christmas present, which we will be covering in about a month.
Yeah, which we definitely will be watching because it's fantastic.
In the holiday season.
That also has a weather machine. So yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, there's nothing new under the Disney Channel original movie sun.
It is, I mean, I think it's good that they mention how bananas this movie is. Like Mac is incredibly disbelieving about how bananas the movie is because
Cartoonish,
it
it's over the
meant
top. It's
they could go over the top with the accents, with the outfits, with the character, with Tanner's
absolutely.
just every, like we said, there's no thoughts behind his brain, just a golden retriever boyfriend running around.
Well, and that kind of works, right? Because the setting for the movie is itself a movie. So you have like you're now two degrees
Mhm.
set of fantasy and fictionalization
Yes.
separated from the action that's happening. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, that they're able to get that. And I mean, I'll give it to, I don't know if I laughed out loud, but I mean it was funny. It was funny. I appreciated
It
it.
was funny. Those two actors who play the scientist and Les, what's his name? They put their hearts into it. They really went for it,
They did.
and they did good stuff together, I thought.
Have you ever seen Lazy Town? It's
You
like
know
a
what? I
Nickelode-
have seen it. I have a younger cousin that I did watch it with. Now that you say that,
it's like a
she has the pink hair.
Nick Jr. Yeah, show, and the villain in Lazy Town, I'm not gonna remember his name, but is very, very similar to the villain here in Teen Beach Movie.
Yes.
I just like it was the mustache, you know, that like really
Mhm.
thin handlebar mustache that they had together. So yeah, you know, it's funny because obviously the
Robbie
villains
Rotten.
was that from Lazy Town.
Yes, Robbie Rotten is
Yeah.
the Lazy Town. And
And
Les Camembert. Oh, like the
Camembert.
cheese.
It's funny. Yeah, it is like the cheese.
And
They don't actually play that big of a role in the movie. It's kind of funny. It's like they're really just there to like advance the plot, but like
yeah, they're really there to
actually-
make the storm at the end. They could have just had a hurricane come. Oh, there's a hurricane 3 days out on the horizon. But
right, like it's the beach, like it's gonna storm eventually.
I thought it was fun to make it right. This is a beach where it never rains. So what are we ever
Wait.
going to do?
But his whole point was to make it storm. So wouldn't he have made it storm more?
No, he wanted no surf, flat tides, and lots of humidity. It only storms because they destroy the beach at the end of the movie.
Got it.
They destroy not the beach, they destroy his machine. Yeah, this is a full recap podcast, so we can spoil from the beginning.
That's why I don't know. Yeah. Well, so spoiler alerts. I mean, not that any decom is gonna be super.
If it's more than 5 years old, you're allowed to just spoil it. You could just
Okay.
walk up to someone on the beach and tell them how Teen Beach Movie ends. They should have, if they really wanted to see it, they could have watched it. It's 10 years old.
They
You
get
have
stuck in the
2013.
movie forever.
That's true. So Mac and Brady realize, oh no, we have to get these two together because the unification through their love is what gets everyone to band together and destroy this weather machine that's going to create the storm. That's how we're going to get home. Also, gonna let Big Mama to continue owning her own restaurant.
Yeah, Big Mama is yeah. I had to say, whenever they show Big Mama on camera, she's always absolutely delightful.
She's dressed great. She seems great. Again, great outfits. The costuming is really great. I realize normally we're going to be talking poorly about the outfit choices,
Yeah,
but
making fun
the
of it.
60s costumes are on point. Like we said, I mean, yes, was all the biker outfits, they're all in leather, the red accents and white. It was very over the
Yeah,
top.
the high tops.
Their bouffants are up to here, but it's fun. It's supposed to be over the top and
Yeah,
a caricature. I thought it
Absolutely.
was super fun.
They were not taking themselves seriously at all.
Agreed. So we run back to the beach with the plan of Mac tells Brady, we need to talk to Layla and Tanner, get them to fall in love with each other.
They do.
We sing this song, Meant to Be, probably my least favorite song.
Wasn't a
all the
big fan.
songs.
Yeah, it was a little bit slower.
And it doesn't work. Layla and Tanner do not notice each other. Their eyes are solely for Mac and Brady. And we first entered, Mac left her rash guard next to her surfboard, her magic surfboard outside, and
it disappears.
At this point,
rash
guards haven't been invented.
That's right. There are no rash guards in the 60s. So again, this was very throwback to like a Back to the Future. You know, this doesn't exist now in the new timeline, and so it disappears. Yeah, it was.
So
yeah,
we get ourselves invited to a hangout for the surfer boys at Big Mama's and a slumber party with the biker girls at Layla's.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting that that Mac fits in with the biker girls, considering that, you know, like she is a surfer.
Yeah, it's true.
Um,
The outfits at the slumber party, I loved it. I loved their
it
pajamas.
was straight out of Grease, though.
Yes, it was so like
Pink
the
ladies.
pink ladies at that sleepover.
They were doing each other's hair. Like they were ready to break out into beauty school dropout. Like
yes, and then they sing a song that felt very Summer Lovin'-esque to me because they were singing it, but they weren't in the same scene. It was going back and forth. They were talking about
fantastic choreography.
Yes. So this song is called Like Me. The girls are singing about boys like a girl like me. Max trying to say, be more headstrong, ask him out on your own. And the
girls can
like,
do
no.
anything guys can do.
Yes. Just back again, it's very third wave feminism. Don't dress for a man, don't dress for anyone other than yourself. And Brady is saying, you know, girls like when you chill out. And the surfer Tanner's saying, no, girls like it when you take charge. And I mean, I see both sides of everything. Sometimes I like someone to take charge because I don't like to pick dinner every night. I'm very tired.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, generalizations don't work. Nothing's true all the time.
The whole point, as like we said earlier, Mac will have a character arc where she realizes I've been actively trying to make a decision not based on a boy, but by doing that, I was just not making a decision based on my own feelings at all. Mm-hmm. So
right, yeah, because she couldn't affect really how her feelings were and the fact that she had them. Right. So which honestly is very, very deep. So here's the thing. Teen Beach Movie, the audience is not high school, which I think is, you know, like high school, no high schoolers are watching this. I mean, maybe if they have like
just
younger
me
siblings.
In college.
just Kelsey on a Friday night in college. But you know, like the real audience is like early middle school.
Yes.
And so these are like pretty deep things to be plot devices and to really be the moral of a story that, you know, the kids who are going to be watching it are going to be, you know, 10, 11, 12.
It's true. It is a more of a forward thinking thought process than a 10 or 11, 12-year-olds happening like, why am I dressing this way? Am I dressing this way for me or for someone else? And also, what is the right reason to dress a certain way?
You know what's interesting, though, that I just thought of is that in 2013, so this probably came out in the summer, but in 2013, in the fall, winter, that's when Frozen came out. And Frozen very much was this, you know, being saved by true love. But it wasn't a lover, it was her sister.
Right.
You know, and so, yeah, it is very interesting that you have kind of
it does give that idea of you might not need a man's help, but you're going to need help.
You're going to need help, and it's not bad if it just so happens to come from a man.
Right. Which is the most modern way of writing female characters. Whereas, like I said, the spunky, quote unquote, character, she doesn't need anyone's help. And then the traditional female character would need just everyone's help all the time. She is helpless and she can't do a dang thing.
Right. So we're trying to hit a little bit more of the middle of the road here. And so I thought it was funny, just like a little side note. At one point, one of the surfers has a what's it called? The slingshot. And he says, "Oh, I'm just trying to hit these Angry Birds." And it's just a little nod to
I didn't
the game
even
Angry
notice
Birds.
That, but that is very 2013.
Yes, absolutely amazing. All right, so what happens next, Kelsey?
We have our pajama party the next morning. Max had a biker girl makeover, which is it's very Sandy and Grease. I mean, it's not inappropriate or anything. Again, there's a very modest outfit movie. But it's just funny. She's got a big old bouffant. She's got a big bow in her hair. And, you know, Brady's trying to say, let's just have a little fun. Let's just enjoy that we're here. And she's trying to say, we have to figure out how to get back. I'm supposed to be on a plane. I'm supposed to go to boarding school with my Aunt Antoinette is supposed to bring me.
And there's
So
no
she's
sense of how time is progressing outside of,
yes,
being in the movie,
it's unknown. It's movie magic. Their clothes do change several times due to movie magic.
which is funny.
When she finds the rash guard, like music starts playing like it's going to be a song, and she's like, no, I'm not doing a song right now, and the music stops. So it's funny to think that the movie itself is a character, and the movie
Yeah,
magic itself is a character. I thought
I
that was
love
fun,
that.
that
Yeah, that's awesome. And
personification.
very Disney, right? Like,
Yes,
yeah,
they
love
they
that.
invented a lot of these tropes. While Annette Funicello was contracted with Disney at the time that she was in the Beach Party movies, or at least the first one that she was in, because back then a studio signed you, and as an actor you were entirely basically owned by that studio.
Sure.
They contracted her out for the Beach Party movies, but she was still known as a Disney star. Disney
Yeah.
helped to invent, or even tangentially, a lot of these movie tropes. I mean, it's an icon. This is the 100th year of Disney. It's an icon and an empire all by itself. So it
Absolutely.
was fun to see them poke fun at some of them, especially musicals.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really interesting because obviously we're watching these on Disney Plus, right? And so at the beginning of some of the movies, they have that little montage of the 100th year celebration, and it's kind of nuts to see. Yeah, right. So you have like Mickey Mouse and Steamboat Willie, and you have, Snow White and all of the big Disney movies. Plus, now, they have Marvel and Star Wars. And then in the middle of all of this, you have these little goofy Disney Channel original movies that somehow fit in this broader schema of what is really, yeah, I mean, every single time I see that little 100-year montage, I don't consider myself a Disney adult, but like I get kind of emotional because it's crazy to think about how much they produced and how much they've impacted,
I
really,
mean,
not just
everything.
culture. Yeah, absolutely everything over
I
the
mean,
course of 100 years. It's nuts.
I mean, they changed copyright laws so that they wouldn't lose solo control of Mickey Mouse. Because previously copyright laws were, I think, after 80 years, something was released to the public, and they were able to change them so that people couldn't do whatever they wanted with Mickey Mouse and set it
Yeah.
out. I mean, they just things that you wouldn't think of
Mhm.
are control. They change a lot of Florida laws so that they can
Yeah, and I
try
mean,
to
not always for the better, right? Like
right.
I think, if I remember right, like during the first lockdowns during COVID, they didn't treat their employees all that great, and things
Yes,
like that. But you cannot deny the impact that they've had.
that Disney's had on our
Um,
culture and our country, and I mean, frankly, the entire world. There's Disney parks in Asia. There's Disney in Paris. I
Absolutely.
mean, everyone knows Mickey Mouse. I lived in Europe for a few years when Disney Plus came out. I lived in the Netherlands, which was the first European country that Disney Plus came out in, and I
Oh, wow.
watched all of the Disney movies um, there. And Disney Plus is actually one of the streaming services that has the most different dubs of movies. So all of their
That's
movies they
nuts.
dub in Dutch and all kinds of other stuff because
Mhm.
they're so known
Yeah.
worldwide. Um,
Yeah, and so you
like
have the big ones, yeah, right? You have, um, yeah. I mean, most recently,
Moana
Moana,
premiered
yeah.
there. Moana was trademarked in Italy already, so it's called like
Hmm.
Vaiana there, and that is the
Okay.
version that I watched. So like the screen grab is different there,
Hmm.
but it's just everything. It's slightly changed for different countries,
Yeah.
but it's the same thing. I would
Yeah.
listen to the Disney songs in Dutch, but it's the same song, but it's in
So
different languages.
it's just so nuts to me. You have Moana, you have Avatar, The Way of Water, and then you have Teen Beach Movie.
All on the same platform, yeah, created
Well,
by the same
yeah, the same producers. So
company.
yeah, pretty nuts. All right, where are we going next, Kels?
So we've devised a plan. We Mac decides she surfs with Tanner. She surfs just as well as Tanner does. He thinks she's different because no one's ever surfed like that before.
Mhm.
They have kind of a heart to heart where she sees that he's not just an airhead. And
Yeah,
then
it's funny because she kind of acts like she doesn't like him, like for most of the movie,
yeah,
which is kind
and
of
and
funny.
he's like very into her, and she's not. into
Yeah.
him. She doesn't even want to talk to him. And then that doesn't work to get Tanner to fall in love with Layla. So she has a one-on-one sleepover at Layla's. I guess we're in a movie, so there's not really any asking where their parents, because they're in a movie. There are no parents.
Of
They're not
course.
real, because it's like, I feel like normal parents would be like, where'd this girl come from? Why is she here 2 nights in a row? Does she have a family?
Yeah, why does she act so weird? Yeah.
And we really bond with Layla. We learn Layla, such a girl's girl. When she has a crush on Brady, she sees Brady talking to Mac and she says, "Oh, bonkers, are you two together? I'd never take another girl's guy." Layla is just not here for that.
Wow.
She's an OG, she's a ride or die. And
Love it.
Layla's necklace has the same flower design as on Mac's grandfather's magic surfboard. Layla
Yeah.
says it means friendship forever, and
Amazing.
they decide to be friends forever. And Layla tells Mac Layla wants to surf, which
Wow.
is the most
Totally
far
against.
out idea. Yes,
Yeah, totally against what the biker gang is all about.
exactly. So she wants to surf, and Mac says Brady will teach you to surf. But then the next day, Mac is trying to get Tanner to walk in
Right.
the direction of Layla.
Because they
Tanner
need them
walks
to
it.
fall in love so that the unifying gang can stand up together to save Big Mamas.
Exactly. So Tanner walks the wrong way on the beach a couple times because he's just confused. He's just a little puppy wandering around. Doesn't know where he's going on a beach.
Yeah.
He's surfed his whole life.
Well, also
And
the movie got messed up, right?
that's true. That could
So-
also explain why he's such an airhead. He gives Mac a headband he made out of indigenous flowers native to
It's
this region.
beautiful.
It is. It's very sweet. And so she sends him towards Layla. She goes to find Brady. She and Brady burst into song. They're becoming more in tune with the movie. They're becoming more permanent there. They burst into
Right.
song involuntarily, basically about how they don't want to be bursting. Well, Brady's fine with bursting into song.
Yeah, the song
Not too
is
concerned.
Can't Stop Singing,
Yes,
which was
Can't Stop
actually
Singing.
my favorite.
Was it?
It was.
The choreography was fun. I thought the props were fun. Ross Lynch did a backflip. He just stood up and did a
Amazing.
backflip.
Yeah.
I wrote down, did he do that backflip? But then there were bloopers
Well,
at
I
the
think
end.
this is an ongoing question of whether or not the DCOM stars do their own stunts.
It's true.
Yeah,
I think Ross Lynch did that backflip.
pretty cool.
And then our evil guys show up and they
do?
try to murder Brady because they shoot him with a
Straight up.
gun. And then they say, it's okay, it was set to stun. And the scientist says it's okay, it was set to stun. And Les says, darn.
So they were disappointed
wanted
that they
to
did not murder.
that team. So then they decide, we'll just kidnap him.
Fair enough.
They bring them back to their lab. And they're deciding because they realized that Mac and Brady were aware of the weather altering machine,
Right.
diabolical weather altering machine. They
So they
couldn't
need
let
to
that
kidnap
happen.
them.
So we have to kidnap them or murder them and bring them
Naturally.
back. We kidnapped them and brought them back with us. They do some fun prop comedy, the scientist and Les Camembert, where they are pulling plutonium out of just a regular fridge that has a slice of cake in it.
Yeah.
Not science. He never took like college bio because that is
He
or
does
chem
not know
is not
how radioactive
proper
it is.
lab safe. Is not lab safety. The scientist says, I have my mom's eyes. I let her keep the rest of her face though. And
Love it.
I
Not
laughed out
creepy
loud.
at all.
That was great humor. I thought that was like the exact weird out of the sorts line I wanted from my villain. And then we don't discuss that. We only have one mother. I loved it. I was like, these are the out of sorts things I want. It's like in Monsters University,
Mhm.
Art, who's the big purple guy, at one point they're like, can anyone do anything? And he says, I have an extra toe. Not with me, of course.
So you just love those weird things.
I love a joke about some just spare body parts hanging around.
Yeah,
And
so they get tied up,
yes, while we're
our lead characters.
yes, we flash back to the beach. Layla and Tanner do meet on the beach. He says, I can teach you to surf.
Yeah.
And they realize they are the ones who are meant to be together.
Yeah, and they fall in love.
And they fall in love all on their own. They didn't
So.
need Mac and Brady, except they kind of did because Mac told him where to walk and left her there. They didn't need Brady.
So yeah, so they fall in love, and then they realize that something's going on.
Yes, the headband he had given to Mac washes up on shore. He says Mac would never lose this headband. Something is wrong. They realize that Les Camembert has the diabolical weather altering machine. They run to Big Mama's and they unite the surfers and the bikers together to take it down and save Big Mama's. They
sure do.
Start walking to the lighthouse where they are hiding this diabolical weather altering machine.
Yes.
Butchie, lead of the biker gang, tells us he's afraid of lighthouses. Everyone has their things. That's
I missed that. I missed that one.
And they talk him into coming, and he still tries to sneak out, but Giggles catches him, sets him in the right direction. So go Giggles.
Go Giggles.
And we're all headed there. We start just destroying this lighthouse. We're erasing everything on the whiteboards.
Yeah.
We're just hitting things with our shoes. We after Tanner tells Brady and Mac he's here to save them, and he just kind of looks at them for a little bit. And Mac's like, "Are you gonna save us?
Are you gonna untie us?"
Right. Oh yeah, and then he saves them. He's got the best intentions. Okay, he
does. He just that last step.
Not one thought in his pretty little head.
No thoughts.
And then we realize that Layla realizes that this weather altering machine is very similar to a motorcycle engine, but the boys' hands are just too dang big and sausage-like to take it apart. But she does it with a hairpin because girls can do anything boys can do.
Hey.
We also tied up the scientist and the evil guy and left them there. And I thought we killed them, but they're fine.
How do you know that they're fine?
We see them in a boat afterwards. The machine
explodes.
That's right. And I wrote, oh, they're dead. But they're fine. They're in a boat. They're in a boat. They realize they're not going to win. Big Mama's going to keep Big Mama's. Yep. We know that this is going to set off the chain of events leading to our storm. There's a heartfelt goodbye between Mac and Tanner and all of our surf friends. Layla gives Mac her necklace. They decide to be friends forever. And there isn't a storm for a while. I kept thinking to myself, there's really not a storm going on, and we need a storm to leave, as we realized in the first act.
But it came out of nowhere. And
yes, we take our magic surfboard, we ride into the storm, and we pop up again back in the real world. We've done it. We learned our lesson. While she was tied to the diabolical weather altering machine, Mac realized she'd spent too much time, making a decision not based on her feelings, just based on what other people wanted. And she realizes what she actually wants is to keep surfing, stay with her grandfather, finish high school, and stay with Brady.
She doesn't want to be the type of person that the private school would make her into.
Yes. Exactly.
Which is funny.
That's very clear.
Because listeners, Kelsey and I both went to private school.
Both went to private school.
And I don't know. I don't think we're too preppy.
We're just fine. I definitely would not describe myself as preppy. I shaved half my head once, so.
You did. As a matter of fact. All right. So that's our movie. That's
our movie. Well, no, we have a final dance sequence, which doesn't even make sense in the plot, as we are not in Teen Beach Movie anymore.
Right.
Because we're in Teen Beach. But whatever. And Antoinette lets her hair down. So I guess she's approved of our ability to stay here. Then we have some bloopers during the credits, which was cute. And after the bloopers, did you watch past the bloopers?
Of course not.
Of course not. Some of the surfers and bikers come out of the water in our world and talk to a
Oh,
man with a mohawk, which really throws them out of sorts. Yeah.
is that what happens in Teen Beach Movie 2?
I will just say they set it up for a sequel right from the beginning. They
Got
set it
it.
up for a sequel right from the beginning. But that is our movie. I'll see if I have any more trivia. I don't think so. As for passion for fashion, all the fashion was amazing.
It was really
I
good.
mean-
I mean, yeah, it everyone looked very attractive, you know, and
Everyone did.
what
It
they were
was
wearing, and
over the top, but I loved it. While Mac is packing at the beginning of the movie to go to private school, she is wearing a scarf, I guess, to signify that she's going out east.
Cold.
They must wear scarves in the east. And I thought, why are we wearing the scarf? But other than that, no notes. I could never have designed. The Garrett, who played Tanner,
Mhm.
said that they sewed his shirt to his shorts so that it wouldn't come undone while he was doing his dance numbers. So they really thought it through.
Mhm.
They were just doing everything, and then that's all the trivia I have too. So I think we're done now to the important stuff. How would you rate this? 1 to 10. I guess nostalgia factor, there's none for you.
Yeah,
You
no
haven't seen
nostalgia
it.
factor whatsoever. How about for
When
you?
when I watched it, I mean, I was in college, so it was fun to watch it again. I think I still have even more grown-up ideas about it than I did at the time.
Mhm.
I liked it still. I mean, it was as good as I remembered it. But the nostalgia factor for none of it was even 2013-y, except for the eyebrows are better in this one
Sure.
than in Cadet Kelly. But
Mhm.
it because it was set in the 60s, the nostalgia still isn't even there because
Sure.
it's not really in that 2013 time period.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how
So
would you rate this on 1 to 10 Disney Want IDs?
so for me, Cadet Kelly was 7.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be honest. This was a 7.5.
More so than Cadet Kelly.
More than Cadet Kelly. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Tell us why.
Well, I just felt like this one was a little bit more, it was more fun. You know, Cadet Kelly had a lot of
Mhm.
serious aspects to it. That Teen Beach
It's
Movie
true.
really was just fun through and through. You know, I can enjoy it.
Military high schools are not really known for being so lighthearted.
Right. Yeah. So the lightheartedness I really appreciated. Because that was, you know, watching all these movies, I don't want to feel like an adult. Like I want to get in touch with my
Yeah.
youthful side. And I felt like this was something that, you know, at 11, 12 years old, I would have thought was like the best thing ever. So yeah, I appreciated it. So I'm gonna give it 7.5 wands. Wand ID, Disney Channel
Yeah.
wand
So
IDs.
you're Cece Ciccone,
And
and
you're
they're
watching the
watching
Disney Channel.
exactly.
And I give it 7.5 wand IDs. Kelsey, how about you?
Okay, I gave it, I would say 6 out of 10 wanted. Now
Okay.
I gave Cadet Kelly 7.5.
You did.
I think I just love Hilary Duff. Might have been why
I think
gave
the
it
nostalgia factor might have clouded your vision a little bit in
It
that
did.
one.
And I will say the scene at the beginning where Mac and Brady are arguing about her going to private school, the
Mhm.
acting was not great. Now,
Fair enough.
Ross Lynch was 16 when they filmed this,
Okay.
and he was the youngest actor.
Yeah, so he
on
was
set.
appropriately aged.
So he was appropriately aged.
Mhm.
But and it is hard to find someone who can, because he does his own singing, who can sing, who can dance, he does his
Mhm.
own dancing, and be a great
Yeah.
actor and is 16 years old. So
And
he's
Zac
doing
Efron didn't
great.
even do that in HSM.
No.
The first
Well,
one.
he can sing. They dubbed him. We'll
He can.
discuss that when we get to High School Musical. Also coming
That's
next
a
month.
whole nother.
Yeah, the High School Musical episode might be extended. Yeah, and the acting there wasn't great, which again is not he's a child. He had to do a lot, and so I have to do a serious fight. And then I didn't love all of the songs. So yeah, I gave it, although I will say the wardrobe,
That's
I'm gonna
true.
up it to 6.5. The wardrobe was
the wardrobe.
so on point.
It was very aesthetically pleasing. It was nice to look at.
It would
the
almost be
entire
nice
movie.
to just put a mute in the background
Yeah.
because they're just, it's colorful, they're jumping around.
Absolutely. Put the Grease soundtrack behind
Yeah.
it.
It would work really
You would
well.
get it.
So that's
right.
us. And
Yeah, I
Cece,
think
do you want to
that's
tell them what we're doing next week?
yeah, that's what we have for Teen Beach Movie. For our third episode, drum roll please. We are going to be doing Johnny Tsunami, right? That's what
Johnny
we
Tsunami,
decided.
another
Yeah,
surfing movie, which was not intentional, but this is exciting. It's our first one with a male protagonist. Because
yeah,
Ross and not Ross, well, Brady and Mac are the protagonists in this movie.
sure.
It's really about Mac. So
And this is our first solid sports one because there's quite a
yes,
few sports decoms.
that is definitely a genre of decom. It's also one of the older, more original ones.
It is.
I'm excited. So
Yeah, I can't wait. So thank you for joining us as we went big or went decom. Right?
we did both. We went
We
big
did
and
both.
we went decom.
So this is Go Big or Go Decom, and we hope that you enjoyed. Oh, and this time I need to remember to say that you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can watch the full episode on YouTube, and if you choose, you can follow us on Substack or godecom.substack.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll see you next week.